Good morning. Today we are starting our next unit. Is it unit 8, I think? Or unit 9. Unit 9, I think it is. So today we're starting with Co52. We are starting to get into the big concepts of algebra. So we are starting with identifying the x-intercept and the y-intercept of a line that has been graphed. So lucky for us, when we start our new units, that first objective of the unit is kind of just an intro. It's not too overwhelming. Okay, so x-intercept and y-intercept, we go, I've never heard those words before. That's really confusing. But once I explain them, you're going to go, oh, got it. We need to have a really good understanding of what the y-intercept and the x-intercept are, because the next few objectives get really into stuff that you will use in math class over and over and over for years to come. Okay? So that those intercepts are a big deal. So we need to understand what they mean. So the x-intercept is where the line crosses the x-axis. It's always going to be x0. So if x is 5, the y will always be 0, because that's where it hits that x-axis line. Any guess on what the y-intercept is? Knowing what the x-intercept is, Hadley?
Where the line crosses the y-axis.
Very good. So the y-intercept would be where the line crosses the y-axis. Any guess on what that coordinate would always be? Vivi? 0y. So if it's going to cross that y-axis, the x will always be 0. That's when it crosses the y-axis. It gets confusing sometimes because people think x-intercept x is 0. But no, it's the y is 0, so that line crosses right at that x-axis. The y-intercept, the x is 0. So both the x-intercept and the y-intercept are special in that a line only has one of each. So that line, as it's going straight across our coordinate plane, it's only going to cross that x-axis at one spot. It's only going to cross the y-axis at one spot. They are each written as an ordered pair, with that 0 being in there. So, to start us off, decide if each ordered pair is an x-intercept, a y-intercept, or neither. Explain how you know. So let's look at that first one, 5, 0. Is that an x-intercept, a y-intercept, or neither? What do you think, Christina? How would you know that it's the x-intercept? Yeah, that y equals 0. That's how we know. So when it says explain how you know, you need to put how we know that that's an x-intercept. You can't just write x-intercept. You put the y equals 0. So if we have -4, 3, is that an x-intercept, a y-intercept, or neither? Natalie?
Neither,
How do you know?
because neither of nor the y or x are 0.
Yeah. There's no 0. So it's not an intercept. It has to have a 0 in the ordered pair to be an intercept. What about -17, 0? Eleanor?
X-intercept.
How do you know that?
The y equals 0.
Y equals 0. 0, 8. Michael?
Intercept.
It is important that we have that intercept on there. I'm putting INT as a little shorthand because I know my INT means intercept. If you want to write it all the way out because it's a new word for you, you definitely can. How, Michael, do you know that it is the y-intercept? X equals 0. 1, -7. Harper,
Neither.
how do you know that it's neither?
It's not 0.
No, 0. 0, -10. David,
Y-intercept, the x is 0.
it has to be the y-intercept because the x equals 0. So just looking at an ordered pair, we will know if it is an intercept. Now, how does that look on a graph? So it says write the x-intercept and y-intercept of each graph. So we have our line we know is going right here. We need to write, when we write the intercept, we're writing the ordered pair. So you have to label it. So I know which one is your x-intercept and which one is your y-intercept. So you have to label it. If you don't label it, I'm not going to know that you know which one is which. So you're going to put it as an ordered pair for both of them. What could we automatically fill in for my x-intercept without even looking at the graph? What could I fill in, Hadley? A 0 for the y. What could we fill in for the y-intercept, David?
A 0 under the x.
A 0 for the x, because we know it always goes x, y. So now we have to fill in where it actually crosses the line. Remember, this is our x-axis is the one that goes horizontal. So what number am I going to fill in for my x-intercept? Robbie? -2. Because when I look at that x-axis, I can see that line crosses it right here at that -2. So what am I going to fill in for my y-intercept? Doctor? A +2, because my y-intercept is up here, the y-axis is here. And if I follow it down, that line crosses it right at the 2. So your x-intercept, you have to label with the x. You have to put your ordered pair. Ordered pairs have parentheses around them. So start doing proper math. Parentheses, -2 for our x, our 0 for our y. Y-intercept is the 0 for the x, 2 for the y. So what I put on the board is what I want to see you writing. Sometimes I have kids forget to label what's the x-intercept, what's the y-intercept. Sometimes I have kids that will just do that. That looks like -20 to me. Okay? You need your comma separating them. You need your parentheses so we know it's an ordered pair. Start working on really pulling yourself up to do proper math. So for each of these graphs, we can see our line crosses both the x and the y axes. So you're going to label x, y's, and you're going to put those ordered pairs for each of them for that x-intercept and the y-intercept. Then at the bottom we have some questions. A says, what is true about every ordered pair of an x-intercept? I've already said this, so you should be able to answer that. What is true about every ordered pair of a y-intercept? Again, I've already said it out loud, almost in those exact words, so you should be able to answer it. And what is the only ordered pair that is both an x-intercept, and a y-intercept. You're gonna write down, there's only one answer for an ordered pair, that's both the x and the y-intercepts. So write down it as an ordered pair. Okay. When it asks what is the only ordered pair, I should see your answer as an ordered pair. Any questions? If you finish, not if you finish, when you finish, because it's not an overly hard page. First day back from break, we get to ease back into the math. It will get more complicated as we go through this unit. So you really, again, need to understand x-intercept and y-intercept. You really need to understand that. We have math packet number 10s to work on. If you still have math packet 9, a lot of us were absent that Friday before break. If you still have that, make sure you turn it in. Okay, packet number 9s need to be turned in, and we can work on packet number 10s. If you have practice work from for retakes that you need to do, you can work on practice work. Some of us missed that retakes, so you can work on those. If you are watching this at home, I hope you are well, and I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.